Hello, Los Angeles Dodgers fans. We've got fresh, exclusive videos and the latest updates just for you. Before we dive in, make sure to join our channel and hit that like button. This is the best way to stay on top of all the breaking news. When Blake Snell signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers, fans had every reason to be excited. A two-time Cy Young Award winner, known for his electric fastball and devastating breaking pitches, Snell brought with him the kind of pedigree and potential that could tip the scales in a tight postseason race. But after just 2 starts in a Dodgers uniform, the anticipation turned into concern when news broke that the left-hander had been placed on the 15-day injured list due to inflammation in his left shoulder. That announcement sent a wave of worry through the fan base and the organization alike. Shoulder issues in pitchers are always treated with the utmost caution, given how delicate and complex the joint is. Even minor inflammation can signal the beginning of something more serious. Yet, from the very beginning, the tone around Snell's injury was markedly optimistic. Shortly after being shut down, Snell underwent an MRI. The imaging results offered a sigh of relief for the Dodgers and their medical staff. There was no structural damage. That was a key detail. Structural issues, such as tears to the rotator cuff or labrum, can often mean long layoffs, sometimes requiring surgery, extensive rehabilitation, and months away from the game. But in Snell's case, doctors determined that rest and rehabilitation, rather than any surgical intervention, will be the best course of action. That diagnosis set the stage for a hopeful return, one that Snell, it turns out, is incredibly determined to make. Over the past week, Snell has been ramping things back up, carefully and under supervision. He began by simply playing catch, a fundamental activity for any pitcher returning from shoulder issue. The ability to play catch without sharp pain is often the first sign that a pitcher is trending in the right direction. And for Snell, things moved forward from there. On Saturday, he took a major step by throwing his first bullpen session since being placed on the injured list. That session, while not entirely pain-free, was deemed successful by the lefty himself. Speaking candidly afterward, Snell admitted that he was still feeling some residual discomfort, but emphasized that it was not alarming. Importantly, he said his shoulder feels significantly better than it did when he initially went on the injured list. That's a strong indicator that rest and treatment are working as intended. More telling, perhaps, was Snell's change in mindset. At the time of his placement on the IL, he was genuinely concerned about what the inflammation might mean for his future. But that concern has since evaporated. "I just want to pitch," Snell told reporters, his tone serious but optimistic. "Am I worried about it? No. I was worried about it when I went on the IL, but not anymore. It feels way better." Those words carry weight. Coming from a veteran pitcher who knows his body and understands the rigors of a full MLB season, it's clear that Snell's confidence is rooted not in blind optimism, but in how his arm has responded to the rehabilitation process so far. Snell is currently traveling with the Dodgers on their road trip, and that has allowed him to stay engaged with the team's trainers, coaching staff, and pitching personnel. Staying with the team, rather than rehabbing remotely or in Arizona, is an important factor. It not only allows for day-to-day adjustments in his rehab routine, but also keeps Snell mentally locked in with his teammates, something that can't be underestimated for a player eager to contribute. Still, despite the encouraging signs, there are some logistical decisions looming for the Dodgers and their coaching staff. One of those questions is whether Snell will require a minor league rehab assignment before he returns to the major league rotation. That kind of assignment allows pitchers to test themselves in a lower-stakes environment and gradually build back up their pitch count and velocity. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts addressed that topic last week. He acknowledged that it depends largely on how long Snell remains sidelined. If the absence stretches longer, the chances of needing a rehab stint increase. But if Snell's recovery continues on a fast track, he might be able to skip that step and rejoin the big league team directly. "I think that's contingent on how long he's down," Roberts explained. "The longer, the more possibility. If it's on the shorter side, then probably not. It hasn't been that long, so if he can get back and feel good, frisky, then we can move it quicker. And if not, then we've got to slow play him." Roberts' measured tone reflects the balancing act every team faces with injured stars. Push too hard, and the risk of re-injury increases. Go too slow, and you lose valuable innings from a key contributor. In Snell's case, the Dodgers will likely be cautious, but they also know that having him healthy and effective in the summer, and especially in October, matters more than rushing him back in April. When he was on the mound this season, Snell showed flashes of the dominance that made him such a prized acquisition. In 2 starts, he allowed only 2 runs across 9 innings pitched. That's a solid line on the surface. But digging deeper, some troubling signs emerged. Despite giving up just 2 earned runs, Snell also allowed 10 hits and issued 8 walks while managing only 4 strikeouts. Those numbers are a bit uncharacteristic for a pitcher of his caliber. The high walk total, in particular, raised eyebrows. For a pitcher with Snell's command and experience, that kind of control issue is usually a red flag. But in hindsight, it now seems likely that the inflammation in his shoulder played a role in those outings. Pitchers often try to push through minor discomfort, adjusting their mechanics or altering their delivery to compensate. And those tweaks can lead to wildness or decreased effectiveness. In Snell's case, it's entirely possible that he was already dealing with the inflammation during those starts, which in turn affected his command and efficiency. It's worth remembering that this isn't the first time Snell has had to battle through physical setbacks in his career. Like many pitchers, he's had his share of minor injuries and adjustments. But what separates the great ones is how they adapt and respond. Snell's transparency about his physical condition, coupled with his clear desire to return stronger, speaks volumes about his mindset. At 32 years old, Blake Snell is at a crucial point in his career. He's no longer the up-and-coming star he was when he won his first Cy Young Award with the Tampa Bay Rays, but he's also not a fading veteran. He's right in that sweet spot where experience meets ability. His performance with the San Diego Padres last season showed that he still has top-tier stuff. Now, the question is whether he can stay healthy long enough to be that difference-maker in a Dodgers rotation that has sky-high expectations. The good news is that every sign so far suggests Snell is trending in the right direction. His arm is feeling better. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on news, so drop a comment below. When you talk about the core of the Los Angeles Dodgers over the past few seasons, names like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Clayton Kershaw might come to mind first. But for those who have followed the team closely, who've lived through the roller coaster of long summers and postseason heartbreaks, one name that's become quietly essential to this franchise is Will Smith. Not the actor, not the Fresh Prince, but the calm, cool, and consistently clutch catcher who's been behind the plate for some of the biggest moments in recent Dodgers history. And today, we got the news that, honestly, feels surreal. Will Smith is leaving the Dodgers. That's right. After years of wearing Dodger blue, of calling games with the poise of a veteran, of stepping up in clutch situations like it was second nature, Will Smith has officially announced that he's parting ways with the team. And let me tell you, this isn't just another name heading out the door. This is a pillar of stability in a clubhouse that's seen its fair share of turnover and transition. Smith wasn't just a catcher. He was the glue between a pitching staff and the coaching staff, the quiet professional who let his bat and glove do the talking. The announcement didn't come with fireworks or drama. That's not who Will Smith is. True to form, it was a simple message, heartfelt, gracious, and focused on gratitude. In a brief statement, Smith thanked the Dodgers organization, his teammates, the coaching staff, and most importantly, the fans. He called his time in Los Angeles the greatest honor of my professional life, and made it clear that leaving wasn't a decision made lightly. He didn't go into detail about what comes next. No team announcement, no dramatic tease. Just a goodbye. A respectful, dignified goodbye. Now, we don't yet know where Smith is heading. Speculation is already swirling. Some insiders are suggesting he might be targeting a team where he can take on a larger leadership role. Others think he's looking for a fresh start in a clubhouse with younger talent, or perhaps even a move closer to home. But wherever he ends up, one thing's for sure. He won't be a free agent for long. Catchers with his level of offensive production, defensive intelligence, and calm under pressure are rare. They're like gold in this league, and every front office out there knows it. For Dodgers fans, this is going to sting, because Smith wasn't the loudest guy in the room. He wasn't flashy. He didn't chase headlines. But when you needed a big hit in the late innings, or a perfect throw down to second to catch a runner stealing, or a composed voice on the mound during a tense moment, he was always there. And those kinds of players, they're irreplaceable in ways that stats can't always measure. Remember the 2020 World Series run? It was weird, it was shortened, it was played in a bubble, but man, it was special. And Will Smith was right there in the middle of it. That postseason, he hit some absolute bombs. But more than that, he caught every inning with the kind of calm that made fans feel like, all right, we've got this. His chemistry with the pitching staff was unmatched. Whether it was Kershaw's curveball or Buehler's heat, Smith handled it like a pro every single time. Let's also not forget how he stepped up during regular seasons when other bats went cold. There were stretches when the offense looked flat, and Smith would come through with a 2-out RBI double or a solo shot to wake up the lineup. He was never the face of the team in the marketing sense, but on the field, he was right up there with the best. And yet, in a league that moves fast, in a franchise that's always chasing the next big move, sometimes players like Smith can get overlooked. Maybe it's the business side of things. Maybe it's contract talks that didn't go the way they should have. Maybe it's simply time. But whatever the reason, the Dodgers are saying goodbye to one of their most dependable and respected players, and that deserves recognition. Let's be honest, this offseason was already shaping up to be a turning point for the Dodgers. With questions surrounding the rotation, the youth movement gaining momentum, and a front office that's never afraid to pull the trigger on bold moves, change was already in the air. But this? Will Smith leaving? This makes it real. This isn't just shuffling pieces. This is losing a heartbeat. Fans have already started sharing their favorite Will Smith moments online. The walk-off hits, the big home runs in the playoffs, the quiet moments on the mound where you could see him guiding a young pitcher through the biggest moment of his life. Those clips, those memories, they're what make baseball personal. And Smith gave the Dodgers a treasure chest of those moments. Of course, there will be debates. Some will argue the Dodgers made a smart decision, maybe clearing space for a younger catcher or freeing up money for another splashy move. Others will say this is a mistake the team will regret for years. But regardless of which side you fall on, you can't deny what Will Smith meant to this franchise. He played the game the right way. He gave everything he had, and he walked away with his head held high. There's a sense of finality that hits hard with this kind of announcement. It's not just about a player leaving. It's about the end of a chapter. The Dodgers clubhouse will look different next season. The pitching staff will feel different. The dynamic behind the plate will change. And as much as teams adapt and evolve, there's always a part of you that misses the familiar. Well, Smith was familiar. He was the guy fans could trust, game after game, season after season. For younger fans, Smith was a steady presence in their baseball lives. For older fans, he reminded them of the kind of players who don't chase the spotlight, but still manage to become stars in their own right. And for his teammates, there's no doubt they're going to miss having him in that locker room. Leadership doesn't always wear a captain's badge. Sometimes it just shows up, does the job, and earns everyone's respect in the process. That was Will Smith. So now we wait. We wait to see where he lands. We wait to see how the Dodgers move forward. We wait to see who steps up to fill the void, not just behind the plate, but in the soul of this team. And we hope that wherever Smith goes, he finds the success, recognition, and appreciation that he absolutely deserves. And to Will Smith himself, if somehow this message makes it to you, thank you. Thank you for the effort, the heart, the grit, the quiet moments of greatness. You are more than just a catcher for the Dodgers. You are a symbol of consistency in a sport that's anything but consistent. And while you may be leaving LA, your legacy in Dodger Blue is set in stone. The show goes on, as it always does in baseball. But for Dodgers fans, it won't be quite the same without number 16 behind the plate. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.